I once heard a woman say that everybody makes mistakes in life. You know, everybody messes up. They just don't always get caught, which is true, but also, before we get into today's video, I just want to let you guys know that this video is for educational purposes only. Please remember to be kind to everybody everywhere in your everyday life, in your home, in the grocery store, and especially in the comment section down below. Please do not show hate to anybody, anywhere. So good morning, good morning, good morning. How is everybody doing today? I hope you all are having an amazing day. I hope you all have had a wonderful week. Hope everybody is feeling great. So in today's video, we're going to be talking about a new documentary that came out on Netflix. And I heard about this case a couple years ago. I could have swore I did a little mini video on this, but I could not find it on my channel. So maybe I was just researching it and tripping. Y'all let me know. There wasn't a lot of information out about this a couple years ago, but boy, is the information out now, and hold on to your shimmies. Before we get into it, I did want to let you guys know, if you don't already know, hi, my name is Christina. I do have a second channel, which is Casually Christina. We just do things way more casually over there. I also have a Patreon. My Patreon's for 18 and up, and over there we just talk about more personal stuff. We go live over there. There's a $2 tier for a lot of extra true crime videos to be put over there. So if you want to find more content like this, there's a plethora of it over there under my $2 tier. Just make sure you read the full about section and what each tier offers before you join. I'm also on Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, and Like to Know It. And Like to Know It is a platform where you can find links to a lot of things that I love and that y'all ask about and that I use, like this bodysuit, these earrings, makeup, skincare, clothing items, workout gear, cooking utensils, all kind of stuff that I want to post over there. I do. And all of those platforms are linked down in the description box if you would like to come and check me out. So, okay, before we get into this, I did need to let you guys know I'm not a professional. I don't know any of these people. I am pulling all of my information from very public sources and news sources that is already out there. Please go do your own research, form your own opinions. Everything is alleged. And just don't show hate to anybody anywhere. So, like I said, a new documentary has just come out, and the name of it is Unknown Number, the High School Catfish. And it came out on Netflix recently, and we need to talk about this. So back in the fall of 2020, Lauren Licari was living in Beale City, Michigan with her parents, Kendra and Sean. Now, Beale City is a very small town where everyone, definitely seems to know everyone. Now, at the time, Lauren was 14 years old and had been dating a boy named Owen McKinney. The two of them went to Beale High School together, which was actually a school that had students ranging from kindergarten all the way up to high school in the same building. So again, as you can imagine, small town, all the kids are going to this school that's kindergarten, or all those kids in this area are going from kindergarten all the way to high school in the same building. Now, Lauren and Owen had been dating since they were in middle school. They were known as the golden couple in school because they seemed like they had the perfect relationship. As far as teenage relationships go, they were both very much into sports. Lauren was very active in sports. He was very active in sports. So they were always around each other, really good youngins, and they were considered the golden couple. Lauren and Owen's parents had also grown very close because of Lauren and Owen's relationship. Lauren's mother, Kendra, became really good friends with Owen's mother, and they hosted all kind of family barbecues together. They attended each other's child sporting events and so on. However, by October of 2020, everything changed. Just before Halloween in 2020, Lauren and Owen received a group text that was sent from an unknown number. It said, "Hi, Lauren. Owen is breaking up with you." After that, a few more texts started to come in, and they said things like, "He no longer likes you. He hasn't liked you for a while. It's obvious he wants me." Just messy drama, unknown number, sending these messages to them as a group chat. Now, these texts were really hard to read for 14-year-old Lauren, as you can imagine, but she trusted Owen, and she figured that it was just probably from a jealous girl at school, and there just so happened to be this big Halloween party that was being thrown by one of Owen's close friends coming up, and her name is Chloe. Now, her and her parents had planned this Halloween party for all of their friends and for all of Chloe's friends. In the documentary, Lauren said that she was not invited to the party because she believed that Chloe did not like her, so she thought maybe the text had to do with that. So making sure you guys are following here, because it sounds like a bunch of like middle school / now they're in high school drama. It's what it seemed like at the time. Make sure you stay with me, because it's not exactly that. You got the golden couple, then you got the other girl whose family's throwing this big party. Lauren feels like she's not invited. She starts thinking these text messages are coming from Chloe. However, Chloe said that it wasn't that Lauren wasn't invited to the party. She said that the party was open to whoever wanted to come.
Hi guys, I'm Chloe, and my mom has these like Halloween parties every year up until freshman year of high school. Just for a reference, no one was not invited. Anyone could come from Beale City, like it wasn't a invite. Like there was so many people that came to these. They weren't even parties. I don't know. A haunted trail.
Regardless, the young couple blew these texts off and went on about their day. Fortunately, after those initial texts, Lauren and Owen did not receive any more for almost a year. So she got those text messages, which were upsetting and disturbing for a 14-year-old, but then they stopped. However, one day, the text started back again. And this time, they were much, much worse. Not only were they becoming more and more disturbing, they started receiving text messages that were disturbing in an intimate way. We'll just use that word if you know what I mean. I mean, the things that were being texted to them or text to Lauren was that her boyfriend really wanted, you know what, and all kind of BJs, and that he wanted to make out, but he didn't want her, and like really disgusting, gross stuff that we're not gonna say in this video. Now, Lauren and Owen had not become physically intimate. Rightfully so. Great job, Lauren and Owen. And it seemed like the person that was sending these text messages knew that and was using that knowledge to hurt Lauren. So kind of trying to make her feel like he didn't want to be with her. He wanted to be with somebody else because somebody else was going to do all these things that she was not ready or willing to do. Now, at some point, Lauren and Owen were receiving more than 50 text messages a day from these unknown numbers. I mean, they were coming at them boom, boom, boom. The person was also using Lauren's nickname, Lo, and they seemed to know things that only someone who was close to Lauren would know. I mean, one of the text messages even had a picture from Owen's family Christmas that year. They were not able to block this number because the person sending these text messages was using a software that generated multiple phone numbers. This also meant that the numbers could not be traced. Now, at this point, Lauren and Owen's parents got involved, and they could tell that these texts were significantly affecting both Lauren and Owen, to the point that the golden couple broke up because Lauren started to feel insecure and she was questioning Owen's loyalty. They thought that breaking up would stop the text messages, since that seemed to be who whatever the text messenger wanted was to break them up. However, because of how much this was still affecting Lauren and Owen, their parents decided to reach out to the school principal for help. So they go up to the school, and the school principal actually ended up being in this Netflix documentary. And he said that he tried to use the school's security cameras to try to figure out who was sending these text messages. He even went as far as having Lauren tell him like what time she got the text messages, and he would use that specific timestamp to look on the cameras to see like maybe who was on their phone. I mean, it seemed like a very smart tactic. Like, okay, you got this text message from a person at 10:45 a.m., so he's looking in the classrooms at 10:45 to see who's texting. However, he was never able to pinpoint anyone specifically, so this is when the principal ended up getting the sheriff's office involved. It wasn't until Lauren and Owen got one specific text that they realized that they might know who was sending them. One of the texts that Lauren got was telling her how terrible she was at basketball, and it said that the person sending the text received 12 points during that game. Well, using that information, Lauren and Owen's parents had someone check the score sheet to see who had earned 12 points during that game. It was Chloe. Remember the girl that we just talked about earlier in the video that was close with Owen and who threw this Halloween party, and the one that Lauren felt like she was left out of? Well, she was the one who scored 12 points. In the Netflix documentary, some of Chloe's closest friends spoke out about how Chloe was kind of known to not be the nicest girl. So an investigator ended up bringing Chloe in for an interview. Now, in this interview, which was shown in the documentary, Chloe completely denied ever sending any of those texts, and she actually named someone that she thought might be the culprit. She named someone who she thought did not like her, and by this point, the texts started to seem like they were coming from Chloe, but almost too obviously. Like whoever was sending these text messages were setting it up for it to be Chloe when it wasn't really her, because why would Chloe want to expose herself for doing all this stuff? So Chloe did end up handing her phone over to the investigators so they could do a full forensic download. When they did, nothing suspicious came from that, and so Chloe ended up being cleared.
So I'm pretty sure this was the beginning of freshman year. It was around like volleyball time, kind of close to like December. And that's when like Owen asked me like, hey, is this you? And I was like, I have no idea like what you're even talking about. Like I, at this point, thought it was like one like bad text or like a couple of random texts that like someone sent. I was like, no, like brush it off, because I was like, no, I didn't send that text. So it basically just got to a point where I told Owen like, just take my phone for the day, like have it, see if you get text. Obviously I knew he would get text because it wasn't me, so I was like, okay, just take my phone. I honestly don't care anymore, like whatever it takes to make you and everyone else think it's not me, I don't care. So eventually I had to go to the sheriff's department in Mount Pleasant and talk to him, as you guys saw. Obviously, like, I wasn't that nervous talking to a cop because my dad is a police officer, but at the same time, like, I was almost in tears because I was just so frustrated that no one believed me, and now I was getting accused by a police officer that I was doing this. And yeah, so I gave him my phone just like face value, and he looked through and he was like, yeah, like I see nothing, whatever, like basically saying, oh yeah, like you're fine, it's not you.
She thought that it might have been a girl named Adriana, who was actually one of Owen's cousins. Adriana had even been at Owen's family's Christmas that year, so the investigators thought that maybe that's where that picture and the text messages came from that we also talked about earlier. Well, Chloe proceeded to tell the investigators that she had some issues with Adriana in the past, and so maybe that's why the texter wanted Chloe to be taking the blame for this. Adriana was also in the documentary, and she explained that Chloe had actually bullied her in the past. This is what she said now. And she said that at some point, Chloe even threw carrots at her and some of her friends. This group of girls were more on the quiet side, so they felt like they were being picked on. But Chloe and her friends denied doing this. And I do want to say that even some of this stuff, should you be throwing carrots at people? No. Picking on people? No. But this all seems like typical high school stuff, right? A little bit of cattiness, a little bit of drama, a little bit of I'm the cool kid, you're not the cool kid, you're the quiet ones, maybe you're weird, a little bit of uncomfortableness. That is a high school experience. What is not the high school experience is text messages talking very nasty and harassing and 50 plus a day and going all out and seemingly because you're knowing where people are and what they're doing and setting up other people, and like 50 a day. Like, it's this harassment. Like, that's the part that's not normal. Now, Adriana was ultimately cleared of this as well when the investigators looked into her. So Adriana wasn't doing it at this point. They didn't believe Chloe was doing it. They still do not know where these texts are coming from, and they are getting worse. Now, along with the other text messages that these people are getting that we just talked about, they started becoming so demeaning towards Lauren, and the advances towards Owen, the text started to turn also. There were all kinds of physical threats that were in these text messages against Lauren, and even text messages bombarding her. Again, this is a 14-year-old She's a good girl, okay? She's 14, ninth grade, plays in sports. She's already broke up with her boyfriend that she had for 2 years, which is a long time, especially when you're in middle school, you're going into high school. I mean, that is a long time for a young person to be in a relationship. Their golden relationship where the moms are best friends and everything. They're already broke up. She's already feeling isolated. And now she's getting the text messages, not only telling her that she looks terrible, her body looks terrible, which, as y'all know, is already an issue for people when you're younger. But now the text messages are telling her to end herself, and they're bombarding her to end it. End it now. The texter started also targeting Owen's new girlfriend, because by this time Owen had a new girlfriend and she lived in a whole other town. Not long into their relationship, the new girlfriend's mother started getting demeaning text messages also from an unknown number. Now this quickly ended their relationship. I'm sure that girl's mama was like, I don't care how cute you think that little boy Owen is. He coming with some drama. Now, this continued to go on and get worse and worse and worse. By this point, it's almost 2 years in. Every day, bombarded with these text messages. Nobody knows who they're coming from. Bizarre. Eventually, the sheriff's department ended up reaching out to the FBI. A cyber expert from the FBI's Computer Crime Task Force was able to subpoena the phone generator's app records, which, what a cool job. Hello. Then this guy meticulously went through every single number used by the texter and found their IP addresses. With the IP address, he was able to identify whose phone had been sending these text messages.
And the phone number was Lauren's mom, Kendra.
Now, out of all the people it could be, the IP address linked back to Kendra, Lauren's own mother. Now, investigators immediately got a search warrant for all of Kendra's devices. And mind you, if y'all didn't watch this documentary yet, she's in the documentary. When this first was said in here, my husband immediately thought, another family member, check this out.
What's your little brother's name? Her little sister's name. Sounds like a boy.
However, it wasn't a little brother. It was Kendra, the mother. When the investigators got the search warrants and they got to her home, it was only Lauren and Kendra at home at this time. The investigators had Lauren step out while they talked to Kendra, and Kendra handed over her phone and her laptop. And at first, she kind of tried to deny being involved in it.
The messages originating from you.
No.
Every message that went to the kids, your number come back through Kendra or whatever it is, the app was trying to hide it. Your number, even though it was being hid, showed up every single message.
My number?
Yep.
And then the cops, they kind of smoothed it out and she admitted to it.
Is there an infatuation there with Owen?
Nothing like that.
Okay, then just tell me what did he treat Lauren Dad? I mean, something serious. It went on for a while, right?
Yeah, and it didn't start that way.
And I'm sure it didn't.
I don't even know.
That's okay. Just start from the beginning. When they were still dating?
It did.
Was he treating you bad?
But it
did.
The first one didn't start.
You gotta be kidding me.
Okay.
One of those messages was telling Lauren to end herself.
I know. And all that nasty talk, specific nasty talk, bullying, calling her anorexic and her own mother.
Do they have cells under the jail?
Right?
Now, eventually, Sean ended up at the house. This was Lauren's father. He was at work. And the investigators told Sean and Lauren that Kendra was the one sending these text messages. Now, mind you, Sean was completely shocked, to say the least.
So this is the deal. Every time the kids received a message, her number came back. Well, so this is the deal. Felony, that's what the charge is. So I knew there was a lot of things going on.
Yeah. And like, okay, I don't know what to say to him, because I'm in shock, I'm just, she's the one doing this for the year and a half, the text messaging.
You guys, watching that, my heart was breaking for this man, because I'm thinking, I'm sure like a lot of y'all, you have husbands, they're gone to work all day long. You got Kendra at home being the mom, and like he's working all day. So he's paying the bills and everything, and then he knows that his daughter is going through this for years at this point, and the mom is there pretending to care, and then to come out that while you're working in the hot sun all day long, your wife is sitting at home sending these text messages to everybody, like, how do you even rationalize with that? He was even told right then and there that Kendra wasn't working.
She hasn't had a job for over a year.
What?
She just said she let go. That's how much quit.
I was told by somebody I know over there that she was let go. She was no longer employed. So I think there's more to that story too.
He thought that she had been working another job, but really she hadn't. Kendra's sitting at home on the computer, y'all, sending all these text messages to all these high schoolers while they're in class, telling her own daughter about her body and about things of that nature, where her daughter hadn't even been intimate yet. Like, I can't imagine him as a father, as a husband, as a man who's just out there in the sun working all day to pay bills and take care of his family. Like, he had to be spinning. He had to be doing circles. Then Sean goes on to tell the investigators that his wife Kendra was in charge of their finances over the past couple of years, and they had just so happened to have been having some financial difficulties. He also told the investigators that Kendra had at least one other phone. So the investigators went back inside the house and asked Kendra for her other phone, because she didn't hand over the other phone. He's the one that told the investigators, wait a minute, she's got a couple phones.
My dad asked me what phone did you take?
She had it in her pocket. I can show you. So,
A couple.
okay. Well, I all of them, so I'd like to get all of them.
Then they had to tell Lauren, and this part was very sad. When they told Lauren that her mother had been the texter, she almost seemed stoic. To me, I saw it as a disassociation, and I understand the way that she reacted. It was like she wasn't quite processing what she was being told, or like she was in complete shock. And it did not help that Kendra immediately got up and was grabbing onto Lauren. And you guys, when I was watching this, I wanted to flip the table in my living room. The manipulation that you've seen, in my personal unprofessional opinion, going on in this moment, with the daughter finding out that her mother was the one that was doing this the whole time. It's when you think about how nasty some of them text messages were, y'all. Nasty, things that would make an adult blush, much less sending them to these youngins. For her to immediately get up and start like hugging her, and it was just so manipulative and terrifying, to be honest. Now, me and my husband was both, she needed to be arrested right then and there. However, they didn't arrest her right then and there. The husband, Sean, did say that she had to go, which is good for him. I didn't think they should have been talking about it in front of the daughter, but nevertheless, they said that Kendra needed to go to her parents' house. Later, she ended up being arrested, and she was charged with 2 counts of stalking a minor, and she eventually pled guilty and was sentenced to 19 months in prison. After spending over a year in prison, Kendra was released on parole in August of last year, 2024. In the documentary, Lauren said that she ended up staying in contact with her mom while she was in prison. And you guys, they showed the letters that her mom was sending her. Oh my gosh, it was so, as an outsider looking in, the letters from her mom, I love you so much. I love you. I miss the love bombing, the actual, to think that she was sending these text messages to her daughter, telling her daughter to end herself. And then she's in prison, like, still manipulating her. Like, how dangerous. Especially when this is a mother. This isn't like a coach or a neighbor that you can keep away from your daughter. This is the mother doing this. However, after Kendra ended up getting out of prison, there was another interview with Lauren where it seemed like some time had passed. And this is so unfair for her, in my opinion, for Lauren, because no child should ever have to make these decisions. And anybody has a toxic relationship with a family member or specifically a parent, you know how difficult it is, even as an adult, right? You want to believe that parent loves you. You want to so bad, but man, Lauren said that she hadn't seen her mom in over a year at this point, and she actually wanted to keep it that way for now. So I read an article that said right after Kendra got arrested, Sean, the father, filed for a divorce and got custody of his daughter, which good for him. Bravo. He didn't waste no time protecting Lauren. However, the mother gets out, and I'm sure he was a nervous wreck not knowing what she was capable of when it came to Lauren. However, Lauren was older at this point. She said she just didn't know if she could trust her mom. There was an interview with Kendra after she had gotten out of prison in this documentary as well. And this was so infuriating to see. When Kendra was asked about sending these text messages, she said, basically, everyone makes mistakes. Check this part out.
Every single one of us makes mistakes. Not a single one of us has lived a perfect life. And realistically, a lot of us have probably broke the law at some point or another and not got caught. I mean, I'll be honest, I'm sure that people drove drunk, haven't been caught, right? But again, if you get caught, you're in the same situation I'm in, but for a different thing. So I do feel that, people lose sight of that. I know to some, I'm a headline.
It is not the same. Wow. Oh my God. You guys, I don't know. I'm just letting y'all know that this is how I feel. Yeah, everyone makes mistakes. Everyone makes bad choices. Does everyone go to prison? No, I did. I made those types of bad choices. I don't say those are mistakes. I think a mistake is when you, put too much salt in something, you trip, you fall, you make a split-second decision. Bad choices, I chose to do this. She chose, what she did is far beyond a mistake, far beyond, doing a little something wrong. That is malicious, vindictive, scary type of behavior with your child too at that. What are your final thoughts?
Mom's sick. I wish they had things like, the stalking and stuff like that is, like you said, the maximum prison term was like 19 months, but there should be so much more like investigation on how it affects people long term.
Right.
Because she's going to have trust issues for the rest of her life.
Yeah. Nevertheless, she gave some story in the documentary about how the first text messages that her daughter got, remember before the Halloween party, that those were real. But then later on, she started the other text messages because she wanted the investigation to go on so she could find out who did the first original text messages, which a very typical person with this type of probably cluster A, B, C, D, E, F, G type of personality or whatever diagnosis, for them to want to be the hero, but just made a mistake. So anyway, she also claimed that she only did it because of her own childhood trauma. And you guys, again, when I wanted to flip a table in my living room, she literally sat there on this Netflix documentary and said that she did not want Lauren to get hurt the same way she had. She said that when she was 17 years old, she had been R-worded. And because of her childhood trauma, she did this to save her daughter. While she's sending her 14-year-old the nastiest of nastiest text messages to make her daughter feel less than, because her daughter wasn't doing those things. And then you're going to turn around and say because of your childhood trauma. Oh my gosh. And then of course the question of them asking her, what about if your daughter would have actually ended her life while you were sending her 50 text messages a day telling her that her body was bad, she wasn't doing enough in bed with her boyfriend at that age, and that she was disgusting, that he wanted BJs from somebody else? Like, what a sick, twisted person you got to be to even think these things, much less send them in text messages for over a year. And what if she would have actually ended it? Kendra claimed that she knew her daughter wasn't going to do that because of how close she was with Lauren. Whoa. Owen's mother later said that she wondered if Kendra was secretly attracted to Owen, okay? And Owen said that she would do like all these extra things for him, like cut up his steak for him in little bite-sized pieces and frequently check on him. And she would go to his football games all by herself just to watch. In the documentary, they said that Lauren and Owen never got back together and are no longer close. So, you know, not whether they needed to get back together or not. I mean, they're young and, you know, whatever. But like, this was this girl's high school experience and the other people at that high school at the hands of her mother. The school's principal had an interesting take, and he said that he believed that this was almost like a case of Munchausen syndrome. He said that it seemed like Kendra would text these awful things to Lauren to drive Lauren close to her. So again, she could be the savior because, you know, Lauren had it too good with being in the golden relationship, great at sports, a good little girl, not doing anything too much physically. She didn't have to. She was a good girl living a good life. So I guess her mother had to go in there and tear it all up for her so she would need her. Chloe's parents also had something to say at the end of this documentary. Now, Chloe's father is actually a police officer, and he said that he had a feeling that it was Kendra the whole time. And Chloe's mother seemed to accuse Sean and Lauren of being in on it and basically saying that they were playing the victims. I'm going to let you know right now, I do not believe for a second that Lauren or her father were in on this at all.
I just kind of wanted to say some things after I saw the documentary, and then also after I saw what people said in the documentary and then what people have said online. And I texted Lauren to see if it was okay, and she said it was. So Lauren, this is for you, and I love you so much. You are so loved and cared for. Yeah. So basically, me and Lauren went to high school together. She was 2 grades below me. We did basketball together for 2 years and cross for 2 years. Kendra and Sean both coached me in middle school basketball, so I've been around their family a bit. Lauren was close with my sister, who was also in her grade, and then I was also close with Lauren. Also, those individuals in the documentary, as well as in the comments, that want to say that Lauren was in on this whole text messaging scandal, it's just crazy because Lauren didn't want attention. She didn't need attention from anyone in her class or anyone from the school. She was friends with people that she wanted to be friends with, and she wasn't with people she didn't want to. Like, she did not have any trouble making friends. She just didn't want to be friends with certain people. Lauren was literally the sweetest girl I've ever met. She is so kind, and I have never witnessed her be mean or rude to anyone in my life. And the idea that people think that she would be in on this to try to set up other people is pretty disgusting. Also, like, she didn't talk about this to anyone at school. Like, most of the school didn't even know what was going on, and most of the kids definitely did not know what was going on. I know that, like, she talked to me, and I know that she really thought that she could talk to me about it, which was good because she needed someone she could talk to in school. She would just cry to me, and I witnessed her cry about it and just get self-conscious, obviously, about the horrible, brutal things that were said in these messages. And someone that knew about this wouldn't act the way that she did.
I believe the mother was shot all the way out, up, down, side to side, and around. Matter of fact, Sean, the father, showed the storage units at the end where Kendra had actually lost all of their stuff. So this woman was unraveling behind the scenes in secret for a very long time. For a very long time. Matter of fact, who knows how long she had been unraveling, but just maybe had a mask on. And I felt bad too I feel bad for everybody involved, all the kids at that high school. This is going to be, when they look back on their high school years, which again is already hard, some of them were accused of things that they did not do. I mean, just unbelievable. These text messages, all of that. But then also, again, the father, Sean, who's just going to work, blue collar man, thinking he's providing for his family. And this is what his wife is doing. Spending all their money, losing all of their stuff, lying about working, spending her time harassing the high school students, and then turning around playing victim. And for Lauren, this is something she is unfortunately going to grapple with for the rest of her life. Sean can cut it off, turn it off, and move on. But this is her actual mother. And there is a connection there with your biological parents, no matter how bad they are. And it sucks. And a lot of y'all know exactly what I'm talking about. And there's always that hope that they're going to be better. And people can get better and people can change. But this is such a sad and twisted and dangerous situation, in my opinion. People that can do this kind of thing and sleep just fine at night, somebody that can hold their daughter crying and be just fine, scare me, y'all. I really hope that Lauren is okay. I hope that she protects herself, and unfortunately she has to. It sucks. She should not have to against her own mother, but in my opinion, she's going to always have to be a little bit careful. Let me know what you think in the comment section down below. Other than that, I love y'all. Thank y'all so much for watching this video, and I'll see y'all in the next one.